Exactly a year ago, I uploaded my first proper YouTube video, and by proper, I mean scripted, planned, and edited. I was creating YouTube videos for about 3 months at this point, but they were just random, unedited type videos, random gameplay footage and stuff like that, so I don't really consider them. And this video in particular was what actually launched my YouTube channel and made me take it more seriously. And credit where credit is due, I took this idea from Guy Fruski, who did the same thing for his 1K subscriber special, so go check his video out, it's great. I really enjoyed it, and this is what actually inspired me to do this special. And now, without further ado, let's do this thing.
Hello everyone, I decided to try something new on my channel and do a Platinum review for Last of Us Part 2. In this video, I will talk about the roadmap, the trophy list, and my personal experience playing and completing the game, which hopefully will give you enough information to decide for yourself if you want to play and complete it for the Platinum trophy. Keep in mind, this is not a trophy guide, as I will not give you instructions for every single trophy and collectible in the game.
I'm gonna say it straight away, the intro is very weak. I'm basically like going around and telling me, oh yeah, I'm trying something new on my channel and it will be about that and that and that and that and that, when in reality, I had like 5 subs at the time. Like, who the hell am I telling that I'm trying something new on the channel? Like, who cares at this point? Like, no one knows me, no one knows my content, and the people who will be watching this content in the future would already know me for that type of content, so it's irrelevant information for them. Another thing I should probably mention, that as you can see here, I'm not looking at the camera while I'm reading the script, because I am literally reading the script from a Word document, which is fine, right? Like, it doesn't matter, but I should at least like pretend that I'm talking to the camera, right? Like, this video is unscripted, so I'm basically just talking to the camera at this point. But even when I make like scripted videos right now, even if they're 100% scripted, I would never just look away from the camera and read the script like from the screen, because it just pulls you out of it so quickly, right? Like, you feel like I'm not talking to you, right? Like, if I would look at my screen right now and talk to you, you would feel like I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to someone else, right? This is a massive difference. Rant over, let's move on.
And also, this is not a game review, so I will not be talking about story and spoilers.
So that's a lie. That's 100% a game review, by the way. Well, yeah, I am talking about trophies, but in the first part of the video, I am reviewing the game, so.
One thing I want to acknowledge first is this game is very controversial because of its story choices. So I personally loved it, but your mileage may vary.
This slide is absolutely redundant because people already know that, and if they don't, well, obviously this is my opinion, right? It's my video, I don't have to apologize for that, it's just, what's the point, right?
The most important thing for you to know is if you are even gonna enjoy the gameplay itself, because if you don't enjoy playing the game, your Platinum journey will feel like a chore, which is not what it's all about. If you played the first game and enjoyed its mechanics, you are going to love this one. Every single gameplay element was refined and done better than any previous game. The stealth is...
This was okay. This was decent enough, like, for an opening, although it should have been like, not 57 seconds in, but like 20 seconds in, and then it would be probably fine. My word choice is a bit weird, but again, like, English is technically my third language, so I did improve it quite a bit, like, since I started doing YouTube and started talking like to more people on the day-to-day basis in English. So my English is obviously better now, although it's still not perfect. But yeah, I mean, okay, I get it. But the thing is, what I was trying to do here, I didn't know for which parts of the video I will be using like B-roll, basically like gameplay footage, where I'm gonna hide my face and where I'm gonna show it to you. So I was basically trying to remember every single line and tell it regardless of whether I'm showing my face on camera or not. So it took me like 5 times as long to record these parts, and they weren't as good. So that's the reason for that. And at some point I was like, like, I can't do that. I was so frustrated. It took me like 4 hours to record this 10-minute video, and I was just so frustrated. I remember that.
Fun and challenging on higher difficulties, and many fights are...
Like, take a look at this. Like, again, I'm looking off camera, right? So, like, why the hell? What the hell, dude? Like, man. This is so bad. This is so painful to watch.
Brutal. If you didn't play the first game, I would recommend doing that before starting this one, because it's a masterpiece and will give you more context for the story. But it's not required as you will be filled in on a story in the beginning of part 2.
This was super awkward cut. Like, check this out. Right? I'm looking away from the camera. I'm talking.
Because it's a masterpiece and will give you more context for the story. But it's not required as you will be filled in on a story in the beginning of part 2.
Boom.
Now let's go over
right. This cut was so awkwardly done. Basically, like if you do cut like that, you kind of need to either like zoom in and zoom out, which I used to do quite a bit to kind of, not necessarily hide it, but make it flow better. And also, like you don't want to leave pauses, right? Like if you already made this cut, so like might as well take the pause out of it, right? So basically like it goes like straight from my first sentence. As soon as it's ending, it goes into the second sentence, right? And it will flow so much better. You know what? I'll just edit it for 2 seconds and show you like how much of a difference this technique can make.
It's not required as you will be filled in on a story in the beginning of part 2. Now let's go over the roadmap.
Now that you saw the difference, let's move on.
It will take you around 30 hours and about 2 playthroughs to complete. I say about 2 playthroughs because completing New Game Plus is not actually required for the Platinum Trophy this time around, but you will need to do some of it anyway, because you need to fully upgrade yourself and all your weapons in order to complete the Platinum. Now,
okay, I actually don't hate that. Basically, like I'm talking about something and also showing it on the screen at the same time. This is always good technique to do. This is what I'm doing in my present day videos as well. Basically, like I'm trying to show something that makes sense in context of what I'm talking about on screen at all times. It really helps like immersion and engagement. But what I do hate that I did here is not removing the original PlayStation sounds you can hear in the background. So basically like when I'm going through the trophy list, you can hear the PlayStation, button prompts. Kind of a rookie mistake on my part, but that's fine.
How much of the second playthrough you'll need to do is kinda depends on you and how thorough have you been on your first playthrough. But the bare minimum is about 75% anyway, and I will talk about it later.
Also, I want to kind of mention that my voice is super monotonic, like holy cow. Oh man, like this video has absolutely zero personality, right? I'm just reading the script and I'm doing this in this super monotonic voice, and it never goes up or down, and it always stays on the same level. And oh my god, this is so boring to watch. And I remember being like, damn, I spent like 12 hours making this video and scripting and editing and like putting music, and why no one is watching that? And then I got like a couple of dislikes after people actually did start watching. I'm like, what? I worked so hard. Why people dislike this video? And now I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. This video was bad.
The difficulty for the game is 3 out of 10, which comes from needing to complete the game basically twice and find all the collectibles. As for collectibles,
like another not looking at the camera and another awkward cut. I should probably stop mentioning it because it's getting repetitive.
Themselves, you will probably need to use a guide to find some of them. But don't let it discourage you, the collectibles carry over to New Game Plus and you can easily clean them up with chapter select. Also, Naughty Dog implemented a very handy system which will tell you how many collectibles you are missing in each chapter. There are no difficulty related trophies in the base game, so you can play on any difficulty you feel comfortable, although I would probably recommend you to have your first playthrough to be on either hard or survivor difficulty.
I do stand behind it, by the way. I gotta say though, like, but also like I have to give myself credit, like the info I'm giving here is pretty good, right? I may be going a little bit too much into detail, but the info itself is legit. Also, I want to give myself credit on my green screen in this video, because it's actually pretty damn impressive what I managed to pull off, since I was still using my webcam at the time and not my DSLR, and my green screen was still pretty small and it was very close to me, so I had like green spill all over me. So yeah, I did a decent enough job, and also I did it in post-production and not in OBS like I used to do for quite some time after that video. So yeah, props to me for that one.
Because that's when the game really shines. On those difficulties, the game is not a third-person shooter anymore, and you can't just run around while shooting everyone along the way, because you'll die very quickly and you won't have enough bullets to do it anyway, which forces you to be a lot more creative. For those of you who want to go for 100%...
That was a bit of an awkward pause. I should have like not paused it here, but...
You will have to finish the game on the highest difficulty, rounded, but I will talk about it after I'm done talking about the base game. Now,
I have to say, Like here also, that was pretty good. Like I'm giving you like snippet of information, and I'm telling you, yeah, but I will talk more about it later. That's always good thing to do. Like as a YouTube content creator, that's actually, damn, I'm actually kind of impressed. It's been a while since I watched this video. I didn't remember doing that, but that's pretty smart on my part.
Let's go over the trophy list itself. There are a couple of trophies that are for partial completion of requirements for another trophy.
Also,
So
my
I will be
mic is
skipping
super
those.
noisy in this
The first
video,
trophy,
so I do
all
apologize
have
for
to do
that.
is for simply
I might
completing the
remove it
story.
in post just
So
for
that's pretty
your
straightforward.
hearing experience.
The next two trophies are basically the reason why you need a second playthrough. Survival Expert is for fully upgrading yourself with supplements. Supplements is something you will find while scavenging, and they look like pills. They are mostly hidden in bathrooms and drawers of houses you go through and are rarely hidden too much. You should try to scavenge as much as you can though throughout the game, because you will need a lot of them and the length of your second playthrough kinda depends on it. Another thing to keep in mind is that you need to find all the training manuals in the game to unlock every upgrade path, so keep an eye out for them. Also, there's a trophy for finding them all, so this is nice.
This is
I
nice.
personally finished all my upgrades on my second playthrough near the end because I wasn't very good in finding supplements, so you don't need to worry if you miss a couple, there's more than enough in 2 playthroughs to fully upgrade yourself. The second trophy that requires you to do a New Game Plus is Arms Master. This one requires you to fully upgrade all your weapons. To do so, you'll need to find parts.
Like again, I'm gonna give myself credit. Like I'm actually showing what I'm talking about. This is better than I expected.
Parts usually look like tools or gears, and you can use them to upgrade your weapons on one of the 25 workbenches in the game. And by the way, there's a trophy for finding all the workbenches as well. But they're usually not very well hidden, and you can clean them up with Chapter Select if you missed any. Keep in mind, you actually
The audio not edited well at all, right? So you have like this awkward pause in the dialogue, which if I'm on camera, like it's fine. I would keep them because it kind of helps the flow. It kind of helps the video feel more natural. But if I'm off camera, like why not remove all those awkward pauses and all those bad takes and all those little mistakes, right? Like you don't see me here, so why didn't I do that? Like I should have, because might as well, right? Like no penalty for that.
need to interact with the workbench for it to count. So try to find as much parts as you possibly can, but you shouldn't worry if you missed a couple. I personally unlocked this trophy
And
around the
again,
midsection.
god damn, this is so monotonic.
Another obvious requirement that comes with the trophy is that you need to find all the guns in order to be able to upgrade them. I got this one naturally, it's called High Caliber. The weapons are mostly in plain sight, so just make sure you pick them up. Now we reach the collectibles part in our trophy list. Archivist is a trophy for finding all the artifacts and journal entries. Artifacts are basically letters and notes you find in the world. I actually really enjoyed collecting them and reading them because they give you more world building information, so that was a lot of fun for me.
Like again, why do I pause here? Right? Just keep talking.
Journal entry is when you reach a specific location and you have an option to
Goddamn,
press
and again,
triangle
I'm looking
and write
at
something
my
in your
Word
notebook.
document.
You will probably find most of the documents in journal entries naturally and only miss a couple. When playing myself, I was missing only a small amount of them and just used the guide on my second playthrough. Master Set is a trophy for finding all the trading cards, which is another type of collectible.
I remember now, I am actually talking about every single trophy in the game, and now looking back at it, it's like, but why? Right? Like, there's no point. Just mention like the critical stuff and move on. Like, this video is 11 minutes long. It should have been 6 at best. No more than 6 minutes. And yeah, that's kind of, well, I mean, I did get better at it later, but still.
This one I found a little bit more boring because it feels like another generic collectible. They're usually hidden much better and you will definitely need a guide for this one. Again, as with every collectible, I urge you not to ruin your experience and use a guide on your second playthrough. Numismatist is another.
And I'm going on and on and on. Oh my god, I'm gonna skip this little section because I don't feel like it's worth your time.
Great location in downtown Seattle, which is a pretty big open world area in the beginning of the game. You will have a map, and as you explore, points of interest will be marked as question marks on the map. You will need to fully explore all 10 of them, and for Ellie to cross them off the map. This one is actually really cool, as you will be rewarded with additional dialogue and one of my favorite cutscenes of the game for doing that. I got this one naturally, because I like explore all the map while I can. There's also a trophy for crafting every item in the game, which you will probably get a little after the midpoint. This one also came naturally to me, so I wouldn't stress too much about it. There are 3 other miscellaneous trophies in the game, one for putting a hat on your NPC companion in a museum, winning a marksmanship
I'm just going on and on and on.
Ruin your experience. Regardless, they are pretty easy to do in chapter select if you miss them. So this is basically all you need to do to earn a platinum trophy in this game. Now the big question is, should you actually go ahead and do it? And my answer would be that if you enjoyed the gameplay, you probably should. None of the trophies are hard or missable. So even if you're a beginning trophy hunter or never
trophy hunter. Great choice word, pal.
Actually earned a platinum before in your life, you should be able to pull this off. Even the collectibles are enjoyable enough because they give you enough world building and reward you with additional dialogue by finding them. So that actually didn't even feel like a chore to me. That being said, you should keep in mind that the story is really depressing and you might want to take a break before going for the second playthrough. Something about me, this game actually was my first ever platinum, so it holds a very special place for me, and I did manage to get most of the trophies naturally without looking up the guide. Now, like I promised earlier, I will talk a little bit about Grounded Mode DLC and what's it about. Grounded difficulty is not easy. You die in just a few hits, you don't have a HUD, you don't have a listening mode, resources are almost non-existent. I would say that difficulty-wise, it's on par with the first game Grounded Mode. Now that being said, the difference from the previous game is the checkpoints are still the same, so you can try over and over again without being worried about losing too much progress. I encourage you to try to be conservative with resources and keep them for the areas you know you'll need them. For that reason, I would probably recommend not doing Grounded Mode on the first playthrough, although it's entirely doable. Keep in mind, you can skip most of the encounters by just sneaking by the enemies and running away from them if you get spotted.
What really bothers me about this part is the music. It's like calm music, but all this going around you, like it doesn't really fit, like at all. Sound is such an important part of a YouTube video, right? Like sound is like 50% of your viewing experience. If your sound is bad or doesn't make sense, it's so off-putting, like holy cow, oh my god. Like I am really focusing on sound on my bigger projects. Like you have no idea. I spent hours upon hours just trying to refine it and make it as best as possible and add like sound effects and make it interesting to watch and even make it enjoyable if you just listen to it like without watching. So it will be fun for you as well. But here, it's so off-putting.
Really good method in dealing with infected is running around, stunning them with bottles, and finishing them up with melee, method I used a lot in my own playthrough. There are a couple of difficulty spikes throughout the game, but with enough tries you can beat them eventually.
True, I did.
If you are really struggling with a particular section, there's a workaround that allows you to enable cheats in Grounded Mode without winning the trophy. Although I would recommend to play it legitimately, you can use it and I will provide a link to the guide on how to do it in the description below. Another mode that Grounded DLC introduced is Permadeath Mode. Now that might sound daunting at first, but it's not as bad as it sounds. You can choose to play it on the easiest difficulty and with permadeath per chapter. That way, if you die, you'll just restart the chapter and not the whole game. This is actually the way I played it, and I still managed to actually fail twice, once by dying to fall damage because I missed a jump, and the second time by messing up a chase sequence.
True story, by the way.
Both of those mistakes made me lose about an hour of progress together, but other than that, that was a smooth ride for me. If you wish to minimize the amount of playthroughs required, you can start by doing the first playthrough on Grounded and second playthrough on Permadeath. That way you can achieve 100% in just 2 playthroughs. Alternatively, you can do Grounded Mode on the third playthrough, which is probably what I would recommend. So this is it. I really hope I helped at least some of you to reach a decision about going for a Platinum or 100% in this game. Feel free to leave a suggestion about other games you think I should review in this format. Thank you for watching and have a good one.
Fun fact, this was actually my end screen for my first couple of videos, and this picture was my first profile picture for my YouTube channel. Yeah, I wasn't really good. Like, I wasn't good like at thumbnail design. I was pretty bad at video editing. I was pretty bad, basically. But yeah, I'm gonna say like the video itself is not as terrible I thought it would be. Also, something I wanted to show you is my organization and how it evolved throughout the years. Oh, and by the way, this was my first thumbnail for this video, right? This is the what it looks now. Not that it made a whole lot of difference, but yeah. But this is basically my project folder, right? Like everything in the same place and everything basically here in the root folder. There is no organization. The thumbnail folder you can see here, I created it later. Basically when I was redoing thumbnails for my videos a few months down the line. So yeah, but if you compare it to my recent projects, right? This what my project folders today look like, right? This is my horror and video games project folder. But basically here I have like separate folder for After Effects compositions, separate folder for B-roll, separate folder for behind the scenes project that I did for my channel members, separate folder for camera, a separate folder for music, separate folder for pre-renders, separate, well, you get the point, right? Like VFX stuff, and the thumbnail folder, which I had like 2000 revisions of it, and the script and everything. Right, so organization is honestly the key, because otherwise you kind of lose yourself like in the editing process very quickly. And also, like compared to the complexity, like the sheer complexity, like this horror project was 11,000 files, while the Platinum Review was like 100 files, something like that. I want to say, yeah, like 170 files. And if you look at the project folder itself, it was at the time when I was still using Vegas Pro for my recording. Also, I'm just checking the camera that it's not gonna die, and it will in 5 minutes. But yeah, I was still using Vegas at the time, and this is what my project looked like 6 layers, nothing too special, not much actually going on, right? There's basically like B-roll, B-roll sound, me, my voice, music and background, and that's it, right? Like not much going on. Like that being said, like there's still a lot of editing here, like, you know, relatively, but still not that much. Again, like compared to recent projects, yeah, this is like recent project, and basically you will see that there's a lot more going on here. Like, again, even pay attention to the sound. This is all the sound files. That's a lot of sound files. That's a lot of sound editing as well. So yeah, let's talk about the scripts as well, because I think, and also I'm just realizing that I'm not looking at the camera, but it's because like I'm doing something on screen. But this is the script for the Platinum Review for The Last of Us, for my first video. It's 2,200 words, which is honestly a lot, right? It's more than I expected, to be fair. But again, like it's not super organized. I mean, it is a bit organized, right? But not super organized, and I'm basically like going on and on. And this is how I am actually working on my current videos. This is the script I'm working on for Platinum Review for Horizon Forbidden West. And like, as you can see, like I have sections and it's all split up. And it's a lot more organized, like overall, right? So yeah. As for my production itself, like I actually made a huge difference. I used to have like Elgato green screen. It was pretty small, so it was pretty limited with it. And I used my webcam and no proper lighting, no anything like that. Nowadays, I'm also filming like standing up instead of sitting in my chair. I guess except this video, but like most of the time. Because it allows me to be more expressive. I like to talk with my hands, which I guess you kind of noticed already, but this is just what I do. It kind of helps me to illustrate my point, you know. And when you are sitting in your chair, it doesn't look natural, and you are kind of like restricted by your space. You can't really move around, so I don't really do that anymore. And what I'm trying to say is, if you have your own hobby and maybe you're passionate about content creation and you want to make YouTube videos, or maybe you want to paint, or maybe you want to be a photographer, you probably won't be good when you will start out, but if you keep at it and if you're actually passionate about it, you will improve with time. Like if I did it, you can do it as well. I want to wish you luck on your own journey, and thank you for watching my video, and thank you for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. Have a good one.